Welcome to our podcast. I'm Karma Kalsang and today we will be discussing on GST written filing and consumer experiences. So joining us today is Madam Kesang, Executive Specialist on the Media and Communication from Department of Revenue and Custom. So my first question is, despite the reduction in GST rates, many customers still feel the price of goods and services continuing to rise. What are the key factors contributing to this situation?
I'm the specialist, but not on GST per se, because there are people who really know about GST. My area of expertise is communication and how to reach out to the public. So this is why I've started this blog. People can always post their questions to Pincel, and we can continue having these series. We absolutely will not go where policy is, okay? Because we will just deal with only what is the current situation that the consumers are facing. And yes, you have brought up a very critical area where we kind of thought that with 5% it should be cheaper, logically. But because the BST, Bhutan Sales Tax, had 16 rates from 0 to 100, so logically 5% should have made everything cheaper. But in ground reality, it's a little different situation. It seems that some of the people had bought most of their products and they still had that in stock where they had paid the other amount, so they'd still charge that and they added the additional 5%. So the prices for a short while would actually maybe be more expensive, but we are hoping that in another few months it'll all stabilize when they finish their old stock.
Talking about the passing GST benefits to consumers, so what measures are currently in place to ensure that businesses pass on the benefit of GST rates to consumer in the form of like lower price?
That is totally up to the business. So it all depends on what kind of benefits he wants to pass on to his consumers or their consumers, because from my understanding it's that they do have, if they have manufacturing discounts, they have dealer discounts, they have so many discounts, so that if some of those discounts they can pass on. But now after all their old stocks are finished and then the new stocks are coming in and there's only 5% GST, so they might now revamp their whole business. The business community should also realize that they're getting the benefits that they get as wholesalers, as retailers, and there must be, but I don't know much what happens behind their scenes, but some of those benefits they can also pass on to their customers. And we always said, when our slogan was smart tax, smart economy. So if they realize that if they pass on the benefits, their things are cheaper than their competition, that people will come, because word of mouth in Bhutan is very powerful. Like, I'll tell my friend, I got that one for that price.
Yes.
And then the next thing you'll know that people will come there, you know.
Yes, I think it solely depends on the marketing forces and
absolutely. I will not say there was one product that I love. One shop was selling it for 95, and another for 70, and another for 60. So you know where I went to get
yes, obviously the 61.
60.
Okay, so it really depends on the prices.
I hope that we are not expecting all this to happen overnight, because it's new. It's new for the consumer, new even for us in the tax department. So we were the teething period. We were saying in 6 months, at least 6 months, there will be all these teething issues. So slowly we can work on it, and if the viewers get back to you and give you all their questions, as not policy related, that we cannot do anything. Policy, it's beyond you and me. Ours is only how we can make
people
understand, and also how it can be the areas that are a little gray. And I don't know if you realize that we had people who were not supposed to be charging GST were actually charging, and there was this confusion right in the beginning too.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I remember the department taking out a notification in the first week itself when we realized that there was this confusion, because we concentrated on the almost 4,000 people, the businesses that will be affected by the GST,
yeah.
and we had them register. So we really concentrated on them because they are the ones who have to be paying the GST. So only the registered people or the businesses, only they are allowed to charge. But somehow miscommunication or like word of mouth, sometimes the Chinese whisper thing, that scenario. So everybody started, who didn't have to, started doing that, and they didn't realize they were actually committing a crime. They were scamming, because like they charge you, they take the money and they don't deposit with us, because the GST, it's a consumption tax, and the ones who are registered, they take from the consumer and they deposit with the Department of Revenue and Customs. It's not theirs to keep, So that is why we immediately took out this notification, and we informed the public that don't do this. It's illegal. Actually, it's illegal. But if you're a registered GST organization or a shop, new TPN should be in the receipts. So if the new TPN is not in the receipt, you have the right to say, I'm not paying. You are not a registered GST shop. And even if they put some of them, I did see some of them, put the old TPN as GST.
Scam.
So I'm saying it's amazing how people, what they do, So then we inform the public that you have to ask for the certificate, or you look at the TPN. It's a GST TPN, which is completely different. So we even took out a sample and we put it on a Facebook, social media, and we circled it. These are the things that a GST receipt should be having. So, we have to do things, because the people are not, also to a large extent, I think the challenges we did face is that the people are not digitally literate, nor are they fiscally literate. So they go by word of mouth, what the friend says, what the thing. So that is why we have this biggest challenge. We concentrated, we had trainings, workshops for those 4,000. But the other group that felt, I think they felt left out. Maybe a little bit. So this group, I think that we need to create another group that will be able to deal with them. In tax terminology, they are called tax agents or tax intermediaries. So we need to get a whole group trained. I have no idea what could be the ideal number, but I think they should be at least 1,000 plus. We should train them, and these ones will be certified to help the taxpayer to file the taxes. Because we don't have many tax officials, and if tax officials have to keep training and they'll not have time to do their real job, which is the assessments and the other things. So now we need to have this group. So what we experience with GST has highlighted that this group needs to be made more, and they need to be well qualified also. Just like what we have for customs. I don't know if you're aware. Customs, you have clearing agents. So anybody bringing in goods, the clearing agents will do it for you. And even when we had the ECMS, when we introduced the ECMS, that's the new system for customs, we had a lot of people saying, we want to import ourselves directly. Then we told them, yes, you import yourself directly, but do you know that every item that you bring in has a code? And if you put the wrong code in,
you'll be in trouble.
You'll be in trouble, because either you'll be accused of evading, or you'll be maybe paying more because you quoted the wrong. So and then these clearing agents are trained, so they know what code to be put in. So now it's like the system is in place, and they are the middlemen. So they act on behalf of the importer. And then the customs officials just handle the and it's quite fast. So likewise, I was thinking that we need to train a whole group to reach out to the unreached, and they are the ones who will be the bridge between the two. So there's only so much you can do: social media, regular media, in workshops.
So for those who are literate, how can we reach out to you guys? Is there any website or any link to?
Okay. Yes, we do. We do have a website, and one just has to go. It's called www.drc.gov.bt. Enter that site and go to publications and hit the publications, and we have all these all published and all available there. But if you also want the hard copy, we have appointed Quincell Corporation as publishers, and it's available for sale in Quincell at a very, very reasonable cost. It's very, I think the most expensive would be a little bit like 200, others most of them are 100 and something. So it's very reasonable for those who actually, there are a lot of people who prefer hard copy. They're not comfortable with what's online. But now we have a new tax act that's coming up. I mean, the act is already passed. So this is next year, 2027, we'll have over 200,000 taxpayers. So sorry, the new TPN has to be issued. So that is going to be a challenge. So maybe the tax intermediaries will have. We also have a contact center, but there were issues with that contact center. So it's system issues. It was decommissioned, and we are hoping that the concerned officials will work on getting it up and running, so that by the time next year comes in, we have a proper contact center, so where people can call and they'll get help. And also we are going to be revamping our website, and we're going to try chat box and other ways of reaching out to the people. But at the end of the day, we said that people want face to face. They want human interaction. So the only way we can think of is tax intermediaries.
Yes.
Because it's a tax official cannot file for a taxpayer. It's conflict of interest.
Yes, exactly.
So the only way that we can mitigate that is train a whole maybe, I don't know if I can use the word army of tax intermediaries, and so that they are from all walks of life, and then they are all over. So, but that is another topic for maybe future.
Yes. For next episode of our podcast.
Yes. And then maybe you can also get in touch with people and say what kind of tax intermediary they want. So what are the skills they are looking for?
We can definitely ask them.
Yes.
Now let's talk about the GST refund process and the delays. So I have seen some people talking on the TikTok about they were informed about the GST refunds would be processed promptly, but however some taxpayers still report delays in receiving their claims. So could you help them understand how the GST refunds or claim system actually works?
That's an interesting question, because I was thinking of how to make a little tutorial on this particular issue, and so I found out that a lot of the people, like you say, they thought it was like, okay, my input tax, everything I cleared in January, so I should be getting it by January itself, my refunds. But that's not how it works, because now that has to go through a process of checks and balances. So once that is done, and I believe it's like it can happen, the refund will take place normally not in January itself, but maybe in February or in March, depending on how many processes, how many all the checks they have to do. So, but it will be done. I think max is like at the third month, everything will be sorted out. Unlike before, it would take even a year. So since that, and these are the things that I'm sure as we get to know more of the systems, and they can be even more. There's a saying, tax is not written in stone. So it has to be
Yeah.
dynamic.
Yes, yes.
So I'm sure if they will, my department will be keeping a hawk's eye on what's happening, and if tweaks are required, they will work on it and all. So this is just the beginning, and it will happen, I'm sure.
I think that's it for this episode. So I think we will get back in our next podcast episode. So if you guys have any question, you can reach out to us so that we can talk about it more in our next episode. So thank you so much.